So before we mount it, we're just going to give it a good press. So I always recommend giving it a press on the back, and that way you're not going to damage your artwork in any way whatsoever. So I'm just giving this a press over with a steam iron. Not very much steam, just a little bit. Just to make sure that everything is nice and flat on the front, and that any of the marks that you've got from your friction pen are gone, and the heat that goes through will actually get rid of those. So that's nice and flat now. There we are. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the mount that I'm going to use, and I'm going to place it over my piece so that I am happy with the position. So you can move it around to a certain extent. That's why we overlap the edges slightly when we're stitching. So I think that's about right for me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to draw around the outside now of your mount, just very carefully with your friction pen, and then pop that to one side. So here we have our adhesive mount board, and I'm just going to make a start peeling this just at the top. It can be a fiddle sometimes, that's it. So I just peel back about an inch and just fold it down. And then what we're going to do is the top two corners here, we are going to line up with the top two corners on our mount board, and then just give it a good firm press down. And then what you need to do is just pull a little bit at a time and press it as you go. This way you won't get any wrinkles in it, and it'll all be nice and firmly pressed down. Just pull it, as you can see, a bit at a time. Try to pat rather than actually do any sweeping movements with your hands, because that way you won't actually damage your artwork. Right, so that's all nicely pressed down onto the adhesive board. So now what we need to do is, I use a rotary cutter, but if you haven't got one of these, you can actually use a pair of scissors. You just need to be careful. And we're just now going to cut round the edge of our piece. There we are. And then we turn that over. And then when you put the mount on top, it will match exactly, and you have your piece all ready to pop into a frame.